up, Bird Nation? Welcome to my office. I'm getting ready to lay down an interview for Muscle and Fitness, and I wanted to share it with you. Muscle and Fitness is a popular fitness magazine. We're so excited to be able to get into their publication and educate those outside of Bird Nation. But I wanted to bring you these questions here in audio format live because I thought it might add some value to your life. So welcome to the Burn Bootcamp podcast, and here we go. So Isaiah's going to ask some questions, the same ones Muscle and Fitness asked, and I'm going to answer them.
Perfect. All right. When you started this journey, did you imagine having 400 franchise in the U.S.?
The first question is, when you started your journey, did you imagine having 400 locations in the U.S.? And the answer is absolutely not. We thought that if we were really good, if we were like spot on and we like hit that pocket, then we could have 5 locations in North Charlotte, and that would be great. And that is great. And for some people, that's a lifelong dream that takes them years and years and years and years and years to achieve. There's so many people that work so hard, that have such good ideas, that are so competent and have the capacity to do it. They get it, they know it, they want it. But for whatever reason, the external circumstances don't necessarily line up. They're controlling their belief. They're controlling their attitude. They're controlling their effort. The inner world, the controllables are in their possession, but then the timing doesn't line up, or the industry that they like, or the craft in which they regard themselves great at isn't ready for them. And what Morgan and I got, I would say, lucky with, although opportunity was knocking and we took advantage of it, but we did get lucky with this kind of post-2008, 2009, 2010 Great Recession. And, really the need for people to, get the results that they're paying for. Because when money got scarce during that 3-year period during the Great Recession, people, still wanted to pay for health, but they were unwilling to pay for health that wasn't getting them any results. And boom, the boutique fitness industry was born. And then, in 2012, a couple years later, on the beginning of the bull run, is when Morgan and I started opening Burn. And no, we didn't think we were going to have 400. We thought we were going to have 5, and we did very quickly. And they were all sublease locations here in North Charlotte. Sublease meaning we were 24 and didn't have any financial history to be able to go to a landlord and procure any type of lease. And so what we had to do was go to people who had already procured a lease and then lease from them. And so we did so at an abandoned movie theater, a gym, like a basketball gym, like a recreation center. We did it at a dance studio. We did it at 2 gymnastic centers. And that was really the makeup of our original Burn Bootcamp mission. And, we ended up doing 5 very, very fast, and then flipped those 5 into brick and mortars, we would say, that were our own leases. And we put the blue on the walls and the pull-up bar and the floating floor and all of the amenities and the child watch. And, we started building out Burn Nutrition and started building out Burn Activewear and putting that on our shelves and creating a store within the store. And that's really where the brand started going. And then from there in 2015, it was a dream come true. And we kept pouring into those 5 locations. We actually became a franchise, and we took 3 of the 5 and we sold those to franchise partners so that we could, retain the company and get the seed capital to continue to grow the organization to the next level. So for me, I knew that we would be it wasn't 400, it was 500. When we were sitting down at a table at about 2013, early 2013, I was with our great friend and current franchise partner, Holly Strickland, her husband Justin, down in Naples, Florida. And I told them at a table at dinner, Morgan was right with us. I said, we're going to have 500 of these, you guys. And they both looked at me like, okay. Morgan was like, yeah, he does that, Holly. Just let him be. And I was serious, and I was dead set on it. And Steve Jobs is a hero of mine, and one thing that Steve Jobs said that always really resonated with me was that it's the crazy ones who think they can change the world and the crazy ones that usually do. And if you don't have a little bit of crazy in your ideology, in your business plan, you don't have a little wild, I don't know how we're going to do that, but we're going to do that. If you don't have that type of fortitude, toward making those decisions, right? Meaning like you can make a decision with conviction and certainty and attitude, even when other people say, how are you going to do that? And you say, I don't know. It's not about knowing how, it's about setting out what you're going to do and then reverse engineering it from there. So did I think we were going to have 400? No, not off the rip. But as soon as we had a handful, I knew we were going to go to the moon. And today, we've done that. We have 502 as of today, sitting here right now, 502 agreements, 333 locations open. The rest of those locations will open here over the next few months and few quarters as they get their businesses set up with their lease and their teams and really start to do their marketing. So now Burn Bootcamp is, we're going to the moon. It went from 5 to 500 to 10,000. And now every viable community on the planet will have a Burn Bootcamp, but we're going to do it in a way that is people first. We're going to do it in a way that is unit economics driven. I want all of my franchise partners, all of the people that I do business with, I want all of them to be, this is what I always say, I want them it to be the third best decision they've ever made. Number one, you got married, okay, in this order. Number two, you've had children, okay, or not, or dogs. And number three, okay, that you bought a Burn Bootcamp business and that it was what you needed in your life. That you wake up every day, you're fired up, you're ready to attack the day. It's your passion, you're driven by it, but it also gives you financial future for you and your family. So that's the lineage of where we're at, and to be continued.
Perfect. How many would you like to see, and would you like to go international?
Okay. So the second question here is, how many would you like to see? Which I think we already answered that question. And would you like to go international? And I think we already answered that question as well. So 10,000 would take us international. 10,000 would take us to basically every viable community on the planet, which is why the philosophy is to the moon. To the moon doesn't necessarily, for our organization, is our 10 to 15 year vision. You see, your 10 to 15 year vision in an organization, you don't need to understand how to get there. You just, like I said, need to know where you're going. All right. So now we know to the moon. We know that. What does that mean for our organization? Well, we're going to make decisions differently if we were going to, let's say, 600 locations or 2,000 or 10,000 or going to the moon, right? Because if we're going to the moon, and I'm serious about this, by the way, like, I don't know if you guys think I'm kidding. I am dead set on being involved in fitness research on the moon, right? Will a Burn Bootcamp be there? I don't know. Probably not. There's actually a very low percentage, a very low likelihood that we will be involved in that at all. But if you don't state what you want and what you came for, right? If you don't aim for the stars, you'll never fall in the clouds. Falling on the clouds, that'd be pretty soft, right? Imagine, all nice and cushy, you shot for the moon, but you landed on a pretty good goal. Didn't get to the moon, but you landed on the clouds. But if you aim for the clouds, then you land on that hard cement. And we all know that cement is very unforgiving. And so the philosophy has always been shoot for the stars so that when you miss them, you land on the clouds. And for me, that's so profound because it provides safety in an otherwise uncertain ideology, right? Going to the moon seems like, how difficult is that going to be? Well, extremely difficult. Like the hardest thing ever. That's why there's such a low probability that it's actually going to happen. But you're telling me there's a chance, I'm going to take it, right? I'm going to take that chance and I'm going to push forward as if it was certain. And how I can make it certain is that I know if we shoot for the moon, we will land on the clouds. And that place is also really, really nice too. And by that one-off chance you get to touch that star, woo, that's everyone's dream as an entrepreneur, isn't it? To be the best in your industry, have an opportunity to lead your industry, the most impact, the most revenue, the most locations, whatever your business, whatever your business's ultimate goal is, or your industry's ultimate goal. Ours is to have the largest membership base on the planet because I want to help the most people. I'm not concerned about revenue. I'm not concerned about locations, but I think we need about 10,000 in order to serve people as well as we want to serve them. So the answer to question number 2 really isn't where are you going. We already know where we're going. It's what could stop us. And what could stop us is having limiting inner world conversations, limiting attitudes, limited beliefs, limited effort. Because when you have these three things, you have a foundation. You're going to make the wrong decisions. You're going to have opportunities that come and go. It's going to rain, and then it's going to pour, and then it's going to thunderstorm, and then you're going to get struck by lightning in your foot one day, and you're going to wonder, like, is all of my hopes and dreams going to come crashing down? Well, these are these external environments that I'm talking about. We still play the game in the rain. Right? The average score of a football game that's whitewashed because of the snow is much lower than an average score in Tampa Bay when they're playing down there in the warm weather. And so the environment around you definitely has circumstances. It's definitely going to be a part of the conversation, but it's fleeting. The external environment it's fleeting. It's going to get sunny. It's going to rain. Right? It's like happiness. Like, you can't just chase happiness, because some days you should be happy. Some days you shouldn't be happy. So if you're always chasing happy, then you're going to be disappointed on the days where being unhappy is actually useful. So for me, it's about taking the inner world, taking attitude, effort, and belief, and never, ever, ever wavering on these three things. We call it our inner world here at Burn Boot Camp. It's what I preach as really leadership principles. That's like the number one leadership principle, is control your inner world. Because if you're not controlling your inner world, how the heck are you going to have reference to be able to help other people control theirs if you can't control yours? Nobody's going to listen to you if you're not controlling what you can control, and you're letting little, finite stuff get in your way. Quick story. I have calls with our franchise partners all the time, and I love them all very, very dearly. And sometimes I have to have conversations around inner world with some of our FPs, especially during like a pandemic era when there was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of volatility. It's really, really easy to forego leadership principles when it is raining outside, right? It's really easy for the quarterback to fumble the football when it's raining because it's wet, and it's really easy to make an excuse. Well, I didn't fumble the football. It's raining. It's raining. That's why I fumbled the football, because it's raining. Don't you see the rain? Okay, right? Okay, Judy. Okay, I get it. It's raining. Are you focusing on the vacuum that you have to go get at the store because your vacuum broke and you need to go get a vacuum? Or are you focused on setting your team up to know the lead generation goals of the organization and incentivizing your team to know what success looks like, right? Are you having week over week organized meetings that are useful, that are productive, that your teammates, your team looks forward to because of the progression or perspective that it gives to them in their lives? Do you follow me? And so, like, you can't be focused on a mop. If you can't be focused on a vacuum, you can't be focused on the speck of dirt that's on the ground. That's called majoring in minor things. And aren't we so good at that? A teacher, Jim Rohn, back in the day. After Earl Nightingale, it went Jim Rohn, then it went Tony Robbins, and then it went some of the more modern day motivational speakers like the Eric Thomases and the Gary Vaynerchuks of the world. And they're all saying the same thing. They're all saying the same thing. Don't major in minor things. Keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is your attitude, your belief, and your effort, your inner world. You control these three things, it's game over. We can have a whole podcast session just on how to think about attitude, effort, and belief, and how not to let that waver when it starts to rain, and especially when it starts to pour. So from here on out, to the moon means that we're controlling our inner world. I'm not letting anyone tell me that's a crazy idea. Sure, they're going to say it all day long. But at the end of the day, we're going to look back, and once again, because I'm the leader, and I'm the entrepreneur, and I'm the crazy one that thinks he can change the world, and the inspiration and the motivation to get other people to buy into that vision and have a dream that's so big, that other people, really successful, really smart, really capable craftsmen, technicians, operators, entrepreneurs, they can all fit their dreams inside of our dream. That's what 10,000 locations does. That's what To the Moon does. We would act differently. Our effort, our attitude, our belief would be different if we had a 500 location goal versus a To the Moon goal.
Nice. All right. Whose idea was it to make the gyms family friendly and why?
Yeah. Okay, all right. So the third question is whose idea was it to make the gyms family friendly and why? All right, so there's three key areas to this. The first key area is that when we started back in 2012 at the Fun to Be Fit Gymnastics Center, half inside of the gymnastics center in the morning when the kids weren't there, and then when kids were there after school, we were outside in the parking lot, okay? And from the very beginning, the very first camp, we had an 8:30, a 9:30, child care at the time, now we call it child watch, at each one of those camps. So from the very beginning, it was set in stone because I knew as the creator of the programming, Morgan and I founded the company, but I created the programming even before Burn Bootcamp started. I used to work for a company in Naples, Florida, box gym, and I created a program called Lightning 900. It was corny, but it was burn 900 calories, lightning fast was the tagline. And I was running this system out of a box gym, and it was the seed to what Burn Bootcamp is. It was the seed to what it is today. And so I did not have child watch then. I did not have child watch then. The child watch was not existing at the box gym that I was at. So no one brought their children in, and the number one reason why moms and dads couldn't come in and work out with me is because you don't have child watch during that time. So I knew when I moved to when we started the Burn Bootcamp brand, and then we moved up to Charlotte from Naples, Florida. When we started in the gymnastics center, part of my recruiting process of that sublease spot was to make sure I had the ability to do child watch. So we did child watch from the very, very beginning. It's been a part of the membership, which we charge a premium for membership because we have a premium service. It's going to add premium value to your life. You're going to get premium results, premium confidence, and child watch was baked in as a part of that, right? And so, all right, at first, you guys, back in the day, our tagline was Charlotte's Fit Community of Moms, which I think is important. It's important that you know who the foundation of who you're speaking to really is. It's important that you know the person that you're talking to, right? Because the brand isn't what you think the brand is. The brand is what they think it is. It's what they think it is when they're sitting around a coffee table talking about your brand, talking about Burn Bootcamp at Starbucks, right? What are they saying about our brand? Oh, I'm so much more confident, or oh, that's a bad experience, right? Whatever they're saying is what the brand is, and it's not what you think it is. And so people started telling me how important it was for them to have child watch at the facilities, and this was and that, along with Charlotte's Fit Community of Moms, we spoke to one person. We wanted to solve the problems for moms locally in our area who didn't have access to child watch, who also, because of that, found it extremely difficult to get any type of demanding workout in on a regular basis. And so clearly that was a problem for moms, and clearly we were right. Because off of that ideology is how we blew up in North Charlotte and Charlotte in general, and then Raleigh, and then expanded from there. But then we started realizing that it wasn't just moms who were benefiting from our programming. That it was single working women are in our top 3 in our demographic. And so we dropped the Fit Community of Moms, although it was recent, and we just started franchising in 2015. So there's still some locations out there that may have some of that OG type of signage. But at the end of the day, we're so proud of the heritage of the company and where we come from. And we still, our number one person, our number one persona, our number one prospective member that we help, that we want to solve all the problems for, is mom. It still is mom. We haven't lost the essence of the company. The soul of the brand, as we continue to scale, stays the same. We obviously can't be Charlotte's Fit Community of Moms anymore. I'm not sure that would go over too well in Oceanside, San Diego, right? I'm not sure that would go over too well. I'm pretty sure it would not. And so, then you become, then we started being known nationally, as we got a national reputation as this empowered community of women, who could bring their children in. And we had some what we called co-ed times here and there that allowed our dads and our brothers and our grandpas and our siblings to come in, things like that, which was cool. because then what we got to see was, at the couple camp times that we had, maybe 6% memberships were male. We got to see dad come in. We got to see mom and dad come in and take the children to Child Watch and work out together. And wow, not only are the children being able to see mom and dad together step into something that they really, really fear, that makes them, just by way of doing it, just by the act of stepping into it, makes them become more confident, more bold, more decision-oriented, more driven. It wasn't about the burpees. The kids saw the burpees too, and they saw the pull-ups, and they saw the strength and conditioning assessments, and the crazy level up games that we do, and all the edges of our members' capability that we push it to. They saw the physical nature of it, but what they don't understand, and they probably won't until they're about 30 and they're reflecting back on their lives, is that what they really saw was mom and dad not just growing those bicep muscles, but growing the confidence muscle as they were stepping underneath that scary little sign, that Burn Bootcamp sign every day, that they were stepping onto that floating floor every day. Because when you step on that floor here at Burn, listen, no offense to stroller strides, but we ain't no stroller strides. Like, we're coming for it. We're coming for the confidence. You need somebody to push you into the ground. You need somebody to demand more out of you than you've ever demanded out of yourself, because that is a relationship that everyone needs in their life. Everyone needs a coach. Everyone needs a trainer. Everybody needs somebody who sees more in them than they see in themselves. Because do you get that elsewhere? Do you get that walking through the grocery store on an everyday basis in your home or your family life? Do you get the encouragement, the confidence, the belief, the high fives, do you get people pouring into you emotionally and mentally the way you're going to get it at Burn? The answer is no. The answer is no. And you're not going to work out as hard on your own as you're going to work out with our trainers, with us. So our children seeing mom and dad gain confidence, gain character, and then being so happy with it that afterwards they can be like, ouch, my arms are so dead right now. This is amazing. I'll see you tomorrow. And their kids are hearing this. They're building a positive connotation. They're building a positive relationship with fitness, with health, and with everything that we've always wanted our children to build a positive relationship with. So Burn Bootcamp is helping our parents raise their children. It's helping me raise my children. Cameron came into the gym last night. We're at a Burn University week right now. That's when all of our trainers, franchise partners, and our people and our teams come into Charlotte and they train with us. Cameron last night literally sat out on the gym floor next to the floating floor at Lake Norman, and she watched a handful of our trainers at the 5:30 p.m. camp. She watched them administering the protocol. She asked me questions all night long about what were they doing? Why were they doing that? What was this exercise? Why were they sweating so hard? Why were their teeth gritting? And I got to explain to her all the great things that were happening. So she's observing, she's seeing, and I'm her parent helping her process. So that Burn environment is giving such positive exposure to our little ones. And, we saw that this was such a evolutionary, unintended byproduct of Burn Bootcamp and what we do, that we solidified it. And we said, we're never going to change the soul of who we are. We're never going to negotiate with the fact that we are a business whose mission is to empower women. It's in our mission statement. It stays there. It's not going anywhere. But, part of the story of empowering women is to empower their circle of influence, their accountability group around them. And for some of us who are younger, that's not quite our family yet. And we're here to teach you those principles, to help you be a leader in your inner circle, in your circle of influence, and give you some principles you can carry forward into your family. And then when, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us have part of our goals, part of our dream is to build a family and have children and pass on the legacy that you want to build. And I always say this, Burn Bootcamp will help you work so hard and be so happy doing it that your kids are going to have a positive relationship with your inner world, with your attitude, with your belief, and with your effort. And when you show them those things on a consistent basis, and mom and dad get to do it, and mom and dad get a little me time, 45 minutes for themselves when they don't have to be Susie at work or Dave the VP or Susie the president of the PTA, whatever it is, like whatever your roles are. You get to be mom and dad bringing their kids to the gym. You get to be Susie and Dave. You get to get high fives. You get to be treated so well. You get to be pushed outside your comfort zone, and your children are watching you do it the whole time, shaping them mentally. So that decision to basically open up our camps to to be family oriented from top to bottom really was a byproduct. Morgan and I, honestly, we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to. It was a decision. It was a great decision that was made. And it was us holding on to our baby too tight that we couldn't see what was around the corner. But our franchise advisory council and our FAC president, Alan Huggins, he's been a great friend, a great mentor to the organization, to myself, to Morgan. And he originally brought up, hey, guys, we got to think about this because this is the way of the world. Think about the scenario in which you went from Charlotte's Fit Community Moms to empowering all women, now to empowering women through their families. That's, I think, quite a evolution, and we're looking forward to taking the children's side of this even deeper. I'm not going to disclose what we're working on behind the scenes right now, but the world is going to be hit sideways with it, and I cannot wait until it drops. But it has something to do with continuing to empower our families and their children to focus on that inner world and to gain character through the vehicle of strength.
Perfect. And 3, 2, 1.
All right, so 45-minute camps. Why 45-minute camps? Well, we designed this specifically for you in your busy life because you are prioritizing everything over yourself. Are you not? If you could be honest and objective with yourself, if you looked at your top 5 priorities, how often are you number 1? How often do you put yourself at the top of that list? And I feel like that is the fundamental message that Morgan and I have is you have to put yourself at the top of your list if you want the rest of that list to be maximized and optimized. And it's such a counterintuitive philosophy because it's like, well, if I take care of myself, isn't that selfish? And the answer is no, it's not selfish. It's selfless. It's only selfish if you're not doing it for other people and you're doing it for yourself. And what's funny about that is when you do things for yourself, there's not as much energy and effort and attitude, and there's not as much what you would say, there's not as much juice behind what you do for yourself or adrenaline than there would be for doing things for the people that you love. That's so profound, right? Because if you start doing for the people you love, there's a different type of energy that happens when you're doing it for the people you love. Your adrenaline, your adherence, your accountability is much greater. Now, if you think about it this way, if you put yourself through demanding workouts, because the demand in the workout is going to help you grow your character and your body, then all of those things underneath you benefit from you growing your character, do they not? So in a sense, all the people that you love, all the things that you love in your life, they need you to work out every day. They need you to put yourself through these demanding protocols at Burn Boot Camp. And they also need to fit into your life. And so because they need to fit into your busy lifestyle, we made these 45 minutes. And because they're so demanding, you don't need to work out for an hour. You don't need to work out for 90 minutes or 2 hours, right? We get warmed up for 10 minutes. By 10 minutes, we're into our workout. We have 28 to 32 minutes in the workout, and then we're cooling it down. And we are going as hard as possible. When I'm on stage, and I go do speaking, and when I'm on stage, I ask the question, whether it's an audience of 10 or 1,000, I ask them the question, why does a bee land on the flower? Well, the answer is not because it is supposed to pollinate and germinate the rest of the world, because that's what bees do, right? They land on flowers, they get pollen attached to their hair follicles on their legs, they fly away, it blows off, and then it plants the seed to life in essence. So that's not the reason that a bee in its psychology lands on the flower. That's just the byproduct. The hair follicles on its leg, that's an evolution over time of of the life cycle. What happens is it lands on the flower to get that sweet nectar, to feed itself, to be selfish in a sense. But isn't being selfish and feeding yourself first necessary? How can you feed others if you're dying of hunger? You all heard it on the airplane, right? Please make sure you put your mask on before helping others with theirs. There's a reason, because if you don't have oxygen, how are you going to give oxygen to other people? If you don't have life, how are you going to give life to other people? You cannot transfer that which you don't experience yourself. So profound. So my answer to how do we design these protocols and this programming was so that you can eat, metaphorically, so that you can fill up your cup, so that you can show yourself what you're made of, so that you can continue to develop your inner world, your belief, your attitude, your effort. And when you control these things over and over and over and over and over, and it's quick and it fits into your lifestyle and it's 45 minutes and you don't feel like anything else down your priority list has to be removed in order for you to fit this in, well, then you're much more likely to do it. So you don't need anything more than 28, 30 minutes on a demanding workout. You're going to fill up your own cup, and you're going to be able to pour that cup into others' cups. And if you don't do something different, if you don't step into fear, if you don't step into this environment that demands more out of you, then my question for you is, where in your life are you getting those around you to motivate, hold you accountable, and demand more out of you than you're demanding out of yourself? So go there, get there, 45 minutes, eat, fill up your cup, get mentally strong, right? Exude that effort, exude that attitude, exude that belief. Focus, stay present. Stay present for 45 minutes, not worried about the dinner you have to make or the project that you have to build or the presentation that you have to give tomorrow. Stay ever present. Stay fully present. That's what 45 minutes is designed for. And at the end of the day, the programming and the workout and the design and all that stuff, that's part of it. And that's what Matt Morris's job here is at HQ, our master fitness programmer. And he does one heck of a job making sure that head to toe, that your body is programmed on a weekly basis to hit every major muscle group and split up between strength and conditioning camps and never repeat the same workouts twice and the same exercises at any given period of time. Like, all of those things go into the protocol. And we could talk for hours on the protocol. And then our trainers on their cell phones, they have a portal, they log in, they see Matt's programming, and they scroll through it. They get ready. As they're scrolling through it, they're thinking about all their members who are going to be coming to camp and how they're going to manipulate those reps, modify them up, modify them down for members that are in the gym today. And so by design, it's created so that you can fit demand of your character, of your physical body into your life easily without having to distracting as little as possible from the other things that you care about. Now, it's up to you to believe in that. It's up to you to believe that the bee lands on the flower for the nectar, not the pollen. And the great thing is, when you believe that and you go to that flower and you fill your own belly up first, the pollen will attach and you will fly away, and that will spread. And your positive energy, your attitude, your effort, the optimism, the kindness that you experience, the encouragement that you experience in camps, these high fives, the that of girls, that of boys, all of these things are metaphorically the pollen that you spread to help germinate happiness and more positivity and optimism and kindness. So the question now is, what is it? The child. Okay. So the question is, have you seen any children that started in Child Watch growing up into Burn Boot Camp? And the answer is all the time. I mean, it's been so profound for Morgan and I to realize and discover how, through adolescent maturity, how Burn Boot Camp has affected some of our, what used to be, because we're young, so they were like 8, 9, or 10, and now they're 16, 17, 18, sometimes 19, 20. Listen, we've had franchise partners whose children started off in the child watch room and now they are training on the floating floor at their mom and dad's gym. I mean, that's how deep this goes. We've had interns here at HQ who were literally 9 years old in child watch back in Fun to Be Fit parking lot when Morgan and I started. And this is not just like an occurrence that's like one-off. This is happening at all of our locations, especially as they grow in their tenure. Right now, here at Lake Norman at our flagship, we've been running camps since the parking lot days. That's 10 years since 2012. So I've got to see 8-year-olds become 18. I've got to see 6-year-olds become 16. I've gotten to see 5-year-olds become 15. And they're starting to get into a place now where it's obvious that Burn Bootcamp has shaped their character. It's obvious. They're leaders in their inner circle. They understand what mental, emotional, physical, spiritual strength is. And they understand the relationship with igniting your physiology in a Burn Bootcamp and then being able to see how that connects to your mind and helps you psychologically. So I love it. I think it's so cool. We're building a legacy of families who can pass these principles down to their children's children. Like, we're going to be here for a long time. Morgan and I, we're not going anywhere. We got 3 young kids. Cam is 6 at the time of this video. Max is 4 and Ryan is 2. And listen, I want these kids to grow up in this environment just like our members do. Morgan and I are members of our own product. We're scratching our own itch. And to me, that's so important to have leadership at the top understand what people really care about. And what people really care about is the people in their life. We mentioned it before, the love from other people in their life and the admiration and recognition, especially from those who are closest to them, especially children, and being able to see how Burn Bootcamp and both the physical and the mental and emotional principles can be infused into a family over time, and how you can create a legacy. We're going to grow up watching our children be 10 and then become an intern and then become a trainer, and then they're going to watch moms and dads groom their children into second generation business owners. And I'm going to leave it wide open and on the table for my 3 kids to be our successors to the business. And our plan is to stay in it for a very long time because we're having so much fun doing it. We're seeing a legacy being built right in front of our eyes. And we're watching families literally change the game for themselves because of the principles that we have in the 5-pillar philosophy here at Burn Bootcamp, which, by the way, you can check out in podcast episode 1, which was just the history, and then episode 2 was the motto, right, which is the 5 pillars. So episode 2, you can go dig into those 5 pillars, and really we unpack them. You get to see what they are, but we're going to get an opportunity to see children living those 5 pillars, and who knows where that goes? Like, who knows the return on fulfillment, the ROF, the return on fulfillment, when a child's psychology is made up around this environment. I'm looking forward very much to studying that and observing that and helping empower and foster more families throughout the world to be able to experience that as well. So the last question is, what observations do you have about what you're seeing in the community right now? What observations do you have about the workouts, maybe some of the people in your industry? I think the most important thing for me in answering this question is that I'm not really observing the rest of the industry. Don't really care, to be honest with you. We keep the main thing here at Burn Bootcamp. I like to observe our members' behaviors, our members' reactions, their interactions, their communications, their desires, their problems, their needs. Listen, our competitors, I respect the heck out of our competitors. It's not a disrespect thing. It's I see you, I respect you. I don't like you, but I respect you. But you're not paying our membership fees. Like, we're not getting a chance to impact your life with our philosophy. This is about our members and listening and observing the relationships, the behaviors, the way our members communicate and what they really need. So if I don't keep blinders on, if Morg doesn't keep blinders on, and we don't teach our leadership team, our executives, our HQ team, our franchise partners, if we don't keep the blinders on, meaning you can't look left or right. If you try to look left or you try to look right, it's blocked, you can't see it. If you don't have that, if you look left and right, you can see other things you're observing. If our members out here and their needs and their desires and their goals are in front of us and I'm looking left or I'm looking right to see what other people are doing, then I'm leaving all of the observation, effort, energy, time, and attention that I could put into understanding what members need. If I'm putting it in competitors, I'm not putting it in members. So to me, I don't look left or right. Never been to an Orange Theory workout. Never been to an F45. Never been to a CrossFit workout. Never been. I've been to box gyms, but they're not really our competitors. And listen, great, because fitness is like it's at the beginning of the boom, and 85% of people statistically in the United States of America don't have an affiliated gym membership, an online, like this is everything. This is a gym membership, a personal trainer, online, like 15% of our population. That's not very good. There's a lot of room that, those 15% of fitness enthusiasts are just getting passed around, with ClassPass from gym to 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 gym. Well, Burn Bootcamp, what I've observed is the first organization that wasn't built on technology, it was built on community. We started in a parking lot. We had nothing. We had nothing but each other, the Carolina Sun, and some old rusty dumbbells from the local Dick's Sporting Goods that got mad at me because I sold them out and then made all their customers mad because I asked for a discount and I sold them out. They probably could have sold the rest of those dumbbells at regular price and made more money. We have an opportunity to create a communal team element at scale where people are proud to wear this logo on their chest. Like our activewear business is humongous compared relative to the size of the actual organization. People love wearing Burn Bootcamp on their chest. It is their team. They are prideful in it. I was a San Francisco Giant minor league baseball player, and when you're in that organization, listen, you're a giant. Like from top to bottom, you just might be in the recruiting system, but you're a giant, right? And when you're a giant, listen, you don't wear blue. You don't wear blue. You don't hang out with the Dodgers the night before a game. You respect the Dodgers, but you don't like the Dodgers. You don't like anybody on their team because they're the people that are getting in the way of you ultimately serving your fan base and winning a championship. And so what we do at Burn is we very much treat our culture like a sports team where our members are so proud to wear the jersey on their chest because it stands for something. It becomes a part of their identity. If you look around at Instagram and like TikTok, what you're going to see is a lot of our members start to use Burn Bootcamp in their handles, like Burn Fit Sarah 37, right? Or Fit Mama Oklahoma, right? Things like that. What that tells me is that we've gone beyond commodity. We've gone beyond just the push-ups. We've gone beyond community, just, the people that you can lean on, the accountability. We've graduated into what few organizations get to graduate into, and that's identity. And when you have a brand whose existence fills the void of some people's identity, and they use the brand and they say, that's exactly what I need, and boom, and they bring that into their arsenal, and that's how they define who they are. Wow, do you have something really, really powerful? Because now all the principles and the communication styles and the methodologies and the rules and all the things that make up that brand now are these members' personal philosophies, personal core values, personal way of thinking about inner world, belief, attitude, effort. And that's magic. So what I've observed is that by not looking at competition, by focusing on what we came here to focus on, and that's empowering women to maximize their quality of life, and to vow to educate, influence, and inspire them with everything we got. The knowledge that's in our head, the love that's in our heart, the strength that's in our body, the passion that's in our soul. And we're not worried about anything else other than that. We're going to continue to create a team that bleeds blue. They don't want to they don't want to go to any other gyms. They don't want to be a part of any other community besides the one that they're a part of. And that is what makes Burn Boot Camp special. That's what I have observed, and I think that's why I'm so excited and so willing to put 10,000 locations on the line and be able to say that publicly, is because I've seen what happens when ideology grabs a hold of people's identity and what that can do for them in their personal, their professional lives. So it's pretty deep, but at the end of the day, that's what we set out for. It's more than fitness. More than fitness.